Thank you. Okay, so I see we have survivors who survived up till so late evening, 9 o'clock. That's great. You heard two awesome presentations about site reliability engineering. Now, I'm not using word site reliability because when we were starting to improve our processes, we somehow missed these words. But I will also speak about how to improve reliability of your product, but using major incident process. And yeah, it will have a little bit about the way. So my name is Kate, or Jekaterina Pundani, and I'm development manager at Visma. I am responsible for Procedure product development. And my background is product development. I started as a software developer 20 years ago, and then moved to more release management and process management, and now I'm leading development teams. So, what we will speak today about? Now, a little bit introduction, as usual, about Visma, about procedures, so just to get us into the context. And then I'll share with you with what we were inspired thinking about reliability. So a little bit about Toyota Way, and then how we implemented it, and our results and conclusions. So just a few words about Visma. Visma is a large product development organization. We develop more than 200 products, and our focus is on mission-critical cloud software. We develop ERP, HRM, payroll, you name it. Main focus is in Nordic countries, but recently we're expanding a lot. And we have multiple competence centers, including in Latvia, who serve all these, well, maybe not absolutely all, but many of these products. And altogether we have more than 13,000 employees, altogether, including Latin America. So we are rather big, and really important that having mission-critical systems like payroll, or like in our case, Procedure, which is purchase-to-pay system, we have to be reliable. A little bit about Procedure, again to get us into context. Now, Procedure is purchase-to-pay system. What does it mean? It means that you have a large organization, as an example, university in Stockholm. And professor needs to have laboratory work for chemistry. He needs supplies. Well, if you will go to professor in Latvia and ask how he's doing, he will tell you it's a fight, it's a war with procurement department in order to get supplies. Now, using our system, he will just go to eShop in his university and click, I need this, this, and this, done. He knows all the prices, and usually even he has budget. So if he's in the budget, he will just submit the requisition, and it will be automatically approved and sent to supplier. And supplier might say, hey, but I can't deliver, but 1 day later, so you will need to postpone your laboratory work, so they can have some communication. And then when ships are delivered, goods are delivered, were shipped, then invoice will come. And if everything was approved correctly with the order, then you don't need to do everything, invoice will be automatically approved. So that's why we are handling automatic invoices for more than 12 million invoices per year. Our system is used in public sector in Sweden a lot, like hospitals, like ordering COVID vaccines in Stockholm region was done through Procedure. And we were in shock when this order stuck. So we had to handle it really, really fast. And yeah, efficient purchasing through 3 million orders. The most hilarious purchase this year was a customer who bought a bridge, not a small bridge through the river, in one requisition for more than 10 million, I think Swedish krona. So we are handling a lot of different cases, and we have over 500,000 users. So you really want to have this system reliable. But per-city is not a young system. It actually was built in 1999. We are a dinosaur. We still are using Java applet. Anyone? Yeah, I see a person who knows what is Java applet. It's not supported by anything anymore. You had to use Internet Explorer, and
somebody used it?
Till last June, it was this year, June actually, it was still possible. Now it's not. Yeah, so, and we're monolith, but with already microservices. And from last 5 years, I would say, we're going through significant modernization and transformation project, which, as you can understand, affects reliability when you're doing big refactorings. And just to give you an example, the situation we had 2 years ago, when we just finished migration from Oracle to MariaDB. Number of production incidents, 6 to 10 per week. Why these 2 weeks are small is because we didn't have statistic. It's not because we didn't have the incidents. Yeah? And major incidents, 6 per month. Now, when I speak about production incident here, I'm actually speaking about, hey, we had to restart Solar, the search engine, a few times a day. We had a job that was automatically restarting Solar daily. And then we had the development team fixing impact because we needed to re-index or fix orders
You should
or
have
something.
fast wolves and restart when you
We do it.
Okay.
We do it. Yeah. And major incident, database restart. It just restarted during the day, 30 seconds downtime, and then holy crap, 3 days at least for impact solving because you don't know what happened. So it was bad.
Amazing.
It was crazy. And I just received, where I was asked to act as a service owner, we had reorganization, and I received invitation to the meeting. And it was called Incident Report Meeting If Needed. And I'm like, okay, what's that? So I'm coming, and incident manager is saying, okay, the only topic for this meeting is when you finally will give me incident reports for incidents that happened 3 months ago. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So yeah, it was our reality, and how do you think can infrastructure guys, these were infrastructure mainly issues, can they do anything? If they have
infrastructure.
well, majority of them were. Do you think they can do anything except solving issues? No. So, and I was surprised when we were doing a database migration project, which actually took more than 2 years altogether to prepare our huge system, 20 terabytes of data, to be migrated online. So, where are my infrastructure engineers? I couldn't just get these people because they were solving production issues even before migration. Okay, so, well, we need to do something, right? It's too bad. So we need to improve, and for that we need to learn from the best, right? Okay, so who has the best? Well, of course, ITIL. Well, infrastructure issues, of course, we need ITIL, but ITIL is best practice. And when you want to really learn from the best, well, you would like to benchmark to someone. But we cannot come to CGI and say, hey, can you show how you handle incidents? We want to learn, we want to benchmark, compare. It's impossible. So in these cases, it's really useful to see who has the best process that you want to improve. As an example, Dell. When they wanted to improve logistics of their spare parts, they actually compared their process with flowers deliveries from Netherlands. Because they have the best process, because you have just 1 day, 24 hours, from cutting the flower till it will appear in a shop anywhere in the world almost. And they have extremely good process with a, they're going, so there is a belt through which flowers are going, standing, and then people are voting. Okay, I want this. They're betting who will get it, and then they put it on their shift, depending where they go. This is the best delivery process. So from whom we could learn? Well, it's Toyota. They have the best defect management or quality problem management process. But there is one more whom I actually recommend to look when you want to improve business continuity process. Who knows who they are? They have now logo Department of Homeland Security, US. Do you know who is they?
Looks like tough guys.
Okay, if you have watched movies about catastrophes, category 6 or you name it, yes? You most probably saw a guys with jackets with label FEMA. No? No one? Federal Emergency Management Agency. They were called before. If you want to find them, the site is FEMA, actually, but they changed the logo. If you want to have best business continuity process, it's there, because what they are doing is preparing for tornadoes, for hurricanes, for earthquakes, and handle afterwards. And they have public processes publicly on their website. It's a lot to learn from them. But here we will focus on Toyota. And we took for inspiration the book called The Toyota Way, 14 Management Principles of Jeffrey K. Liker. He was working with Toyota when they started to build factories in the United States. And he was actually learning what they're doing differently comparing to how Ford or General Motors are working. And what you see here is called Toyota Production System, or another word is House of Lean. This is base principles on which Toyota is working, starting with their philosophy, Toyota Way philosophy, through the main pillars of just-in-time or one-piece flow that you most probably heard. Kanban is based on it, and Jidoka, in-station quality, the way they handle defects, with their goals: best quality, lower cost, shorter lead time, best safety and high morale on top, and in the middle, the respect for people, waste reduction, and continuous improvement. So I really encourage, if you're interested, read this book as a base, because it has a lot of history and reasons why they actually went this direction and why now they are so successful. So we will focus now on pillar of Jidoka. How they are working. Now imagine the assembly line. It's moving, right? Or you have people who are taking from here, doing something and putting here, and the next person is taking it, right? And they have something called Andon. It is authority to stop the line. If they find a defect, they have an Andon cord. It can be like this as a button, or it can be like this as literally a cord, a rope that they pull. What happens then? There is a visual signal where exactly the defect was found. Now, they don't accept any defect at all. Here we have a start of the cycle and end of the cycle. So this person has 60 seconds to do what he needed to do. As an example, he needed to put the back light, right? But he cannot. Well, there is some issue. So he pulled the cord. This light now is yellow. The supervisor or team leader runs there. He has 1 minute in order to come and help. Because, well, pulling, it means I have a problem, I need help. If they will fix the issue within these 60 seconds, or what is the cycle time, it could be like 2 minutes, depends. Then the supervisor will pull the cord again, and all good. But if he will not be in time, whole assembly line will stop. That's it. No one is working. Because we have defect. Because we are not allowed to get defect to the next person. Then, what is happening? I see that you have surprised faces. Yeah? What happens then? So they discover an abnormality, they stop the process, they fix the immediate problem, and they fix root cause immediately. It doesn't mean that production line is stopped at that moment. They fix the immediate issues, they started the line. But the team lead is not going and chilling somewhere. It was actually a problem when they implemented factories in the United States. The team leads were sitting in the room thinking that, okay, I just need to run and then run back and just chill. No, they need to remove the root cause immediately, and that is priority number 1. There is a story when it was a motor engine factory built, and a new vice president, he worked before in General Motors, and when he was reporting to his president, who was from Japan, he was so happy. We haven't stopped production at all this month, we're so good, because in General Motors, you were punished for stopping production. And his manager, the president, told, you don't understand. If you never stop production, it means you don't have problems. But there is no manufacturer that doesn't have problems. It means you hide problems. No. Change your mindset, bring up the inventory, and stop the production each time you have an issue. Fix it, and only then you will have more efficient process and better quality engines. They do not allow any defect to go to the next step. They also are working in the same way with suppliers. So imagine this person found that the light that he needs to put in, it has defect. So what he obviously will do, he will just put it aside and will take the next one. That's how we would do in General Motors. But what he actually is doing, he sees a defect in a part, he's taking a phone and calls to quality control department. I'm now telling a story of Honda Motors factory in the United States. So what they use Toyota production system. So what quality control department has 2 phones, one red from assembly line and one black that they're using calling suppliers. So he picked up the red phone, okay, there is issue. He went straight away, immediately, took the defected part, he's investigating it, coming back, calling supplier with the black phone and saying, you know what, there is a defect in the lights that you have sent to us. You have 1 hour to call me back to say how you fixed your process to ensure we will not get the defected parts again. 1 hour. Why? Because they have warehouse that stores only for 2 hours the production. And they demand their suppliers to also follow the same process. So actually the person or the company that was making these lights, they don't have warehouse. They're just putting it on a carriage that will go directly into the truck and will go directly into the plant of Toyota. So what they want is A, don't involve management if you don't need. If they would call the manager and then that manager would call the manager of supplier, it would take a week to get a meeting, and then for a week the defected parts will continue to come. That's a bad idea. So they are making extreme continuous improvement. So that was our idea to repeat. Now let me show you, we haven't changed the process for last half year. So it is our result after 1.5 years of really focusing on stop production. Don't take me wrong, I don't stop production like production. Toyota doesn't stop all cars that people are driving. They are stopping the production, so people are stopping to work. Which means my continuous delivery team, usually, or development team, they stop to work, don't deliver anything till the issue in production is fixed. You will see. So, let's start for definition. Major incidents are emergencies that affect business critical services, require immediate attention and communication to customers. And this is very important for us, because one of the really important for me is that it will not be customer to inform us about issue. We should inform him, all customers, that we have degraded performance, we cannot process invoices or orders in time, and so on. We inform them, and that's our big focus. And if we're not good, we need to ensure customers are receiving information and don't call our support for, hey, when you will be ready. We need to communicate very actively. The purpose of major incident process is, of course, to resolve the normal operation as fast as possible and ensure that it will not happen again. So, what we have? We have 4 routes through which we can get the information about major incident on production. First is Uptime Robot. We implemented it around 6 months ago, when we realized that all our monitoring, all our alerts that are going through OpsGenie to us, they were not monitoring a front end, the static content is working. And we understood, okay, it's better to have additional tool that is just monitoring from outside if our system is reachable. So Uptime Robot checks from outside if we are working. OpsGenie we have enormous monitoring in Grafana that has thresholds for different things. And whenever there is a threshold reached, we will have the alert in OpsGenie. We have a team, operations team. It's a service we are buying. They are working 24/7. Who has a pager or a special phone, and they have to react. I'll show what they do. So here are more infrastructure issues caught. PIA errors. It is system errors that we log, that we classify automatically, categorize, and we are able to see the trend. So that, as an example, it's especially useful after we deployed release to production. Developers are monitoring if we have some peaks of some new issues, and we are able to say, hey, we have a bug, so we can fix it immediately. And if first 3 hasn't catched, then of course, sometimes we have user issue. We're going through detection, investigation, resolution, and closure, of course. So this is how Uptime Robot looks. We are able to see which exact, we have multiple front ends, is good. We had issue with our pre-production recently, so, and we can see how good it was. And it will inform us if something fishy is going on. This is Grafana telling us that it's just a small part of it. How our APIs were used, do we have RabbitMQ queues piled up, and so on. So it is enormous amount of monitors that we have. And if there is alert, it will go to both OpsGenie, and we are receiving notifications through Slack that, as an example, logs with RabbitMQ failed messages found, please check the table. So what operational team has is alert descriptions. For each this alert, they have instruction what to do. And the last step of any instruction is to contact us, of course. This is extremely important part for us to have standardized processes so we know what to do in each case. This is PIA, our system errors, where we see all issues. They're automatically categorized, and it is our job to add new categorization, of course, where we can monitor, do we have an income of a lot of new issues of specific type. We also have, of course, groupings and so on to see where we have the worst ones. So how it works when we detected the incident? First of all, they must be communicated in Slack. Now they still need to be created in Jira, but for us it is Slack that is Andon, that will signal to everyone that, hey, we have issue. And whoever first sees the issue raised in production need to ping directly the Agile lead or Scrum Master of specific team and the third line duty. In each team we have one person all the time, and they are rotating, who is on third line duty, who needs to react on this incidents, who is working with the third line cases, and who is monitoring PIA. So one person is always appointed. If it is reported anywhere else, it must be re-reported here in Slack. And we immediately are creating Meet meeting. We're using Google Meet. Why? Because we are international teams. Actually, all teams that they have, they are fully international. So we are using this to get everyone involved immediately. I had a workshop in Stockholm where I had multiple people coming to Stockholm this Tuesday, and during the workshop it appeared that there is major incident. Major incident manager together with team lead of continuous delivery team, they just stood up saying pretty much nothing, we have major incident, gone, that's it. Then they pinged to one of the managers on the meeting, hey, we need you. There's no questions. This is the most important. It was not downtime. It was performance degradation. We just had a little bit stuck integrations. But for us it is so important, and it is absolutely the highest priority for everyone, from people working in operations till highest managers, it doesn't matter. And we need to get communication very fast, that's why we're using Meet. They all the time sitting together to resolve it. So we have two separate roles who work with the incident. Third line duty is the one who will resolve the incident, and incident coordinator. They are responsible for communication, for coordination, for having major incident review afterwards, for tracing the timeline, and it is always two separate persons. Because person who is solving the incident, he doesn't have time even to remember to go and communicate about status when they are sitting 4 hours without any results sometimes. So it is mandatory to have two different persons. What is also important for us, and it was our big issue at the beginning, we were investigating the incident, resolving the incident, and done, we resolved the incident, and then customers were making third line cases, hey, this incident, this invoice was not processed correctly, this order was not processed correctly, and we were handling it as part of third line process after days of invoice or order hasn't been processed correctly. So for us now, and this is mandatory and we always are doing it, we resolve the incident, we always investigate impact and fix impact immediately, so that we would not have situations that customer reaches us. And performing root cause investigation happens immediately, meaning it doesn't matter that we have sprint. If we have major incident, from software side and developers are needed to investigate root cause, stop. We do not develop anything. These people are stopping to work in sprint. We will fail it. It doesn't matter. We will perform root cause investigation now and we will fix it now. Communication, we are using Slack for internal communication and status page for external communication each 30 minutes. And after incident, we are creating incident report. You heard about postmortem, it's pretty much the same. We have deadlines 3 days. We actually are doing it next day. This is a rule of thumb unless we cannot physically do it. And we have external communication for customers where we inform customers about root cause and about what we will do to avoid this incident again, all the time. This is how looks our status page. I'm really glad for 90 days our availability is 100%. Not fully for other things, but we are really good in not breaking SLA now. And here we have full information about how the incident was investigated, when we monitored, after resolution of the incident. We also are monitoring if everything is okay before it will be resolved. Now it is important that our customers and users can subscribe to updates, and they are doing it now. We have a lot of subscribed, so they're receiving, like they wanted, email or SMS or notification in Slack for all our updates. So they don't need to call to our support. They know before they even face the issue that, hey, there is a performance issue on our side. Your order will be processed a little bit longer. So how we did it with incident reports, actually. This is a list of incident reports, just as an example. You can see that not all incidents here are critical or high. We also have mediums, because sometimes we can decide we do want to learn how to be better next time, how to avoid this incident next time. Sometimes customers are demanding. We don't perceive it as critical, but they do. Then they demand reports, and we are running this process. So let me show you a little bit practice how looks our incident report, what learning we are doing each time. So, of course, everything starts with some general information about coordinator and who was participating, how we managed to do the report in time. We're doing categorization and classification, like was it operational, was it major, and so on. This is needed for statistics. This example is load balancer was out of resources, actually. Yeah, it already is not actually major. Well, our users had sometimes issues to log in because of it, but they could just re-log in again. As you can see, we are running this process now, not for downtimes even, because we want to learn and improve. If it would be security incident, we would have additional process working for that. It wasn't. So let's start with important parts. Incident description and resolution. For any incident, we need to, of course, describe what happened and describe the impact. Always. Because we want to clearly know what we have done to solve the incident and what we have done to solve impact. We are teaching our people to think about it as two separate processes because they are. Otherwise, they were keep forgetting about impact. And of course, root cause. We trace timing. When incident was started, how much time, how many minutes we had our reaction time, resolution time. If impact was resolved in a few days, then how much time it took, downtime, first notification to business, and first notification to customers. We have full timeline of what happened when we communicated. We here describe absolutely everything. We have major incidents that lasted days, and it's like you are just scrolling 3-5 pages in order to go through the timeline, but it is extremely important. For the next part, it's improvement actions. Now we have several areas in which we demand each incident to be analyzed and questions answered. And the first question is not about root cause. It is about detection. How was the incident detected? If it was not detected by monitoring, you have to have improvement action. You have to do straight away that next time, not this incident, similar incident will be detected by monitoring. If it was detected, can we improve alerts? And how fast information about the incident was provided to responsible team? Because, like you have seen today, the time between incident start and reaction time, we need to shorten it. So, in this case, no issues found. Resolution, we're not asking about, we're not asking about root cause. We're asking questions, have we been really good in resolving the incident fast? During the incident, did we miss any information that could have helped us? If not, action, please. During the incident, was there anything that slowed us down? If no, action. In this case, guys answer it, we could have chosen to restart load balancer earlier, but we need to know what happens when we are restarting. We never tested. So the actions that they made is to test it. Great. Okay. Next part is communication. We still are not in root cause. Imagine, we still are asking, have we done it good? Communication. During the incident, was communication between all involved parties effective, and was status communicated on the status page in time? If not, change the process. Remind people to follow it up. And finally, prevention. Finally, we are into root cause resolution. What can we do to make this incident less likely to happen again? Again, less likely, we don't always are able to remove root cause. So in this case, we want to increase capacity for load balancer, especially we know in January we will have load. So it's very important. And another question that they have to answer, what can we do to make the impact of this or similar incident smaller? So they need to think about it after each incident. And finally, wrap up is, have we done the review fast enough? If not, change the process again. And any other things. So how do you think? Would that improve the way, the production and the reliability of the system? If you work with
a lot of people to manage everything.
No.
Managers to focus.
We have one.
One.
We have one major incident manager
If it's enough, then it's good.
that is following up all this.
So how many people actually were actively participating while you were onboarding all these practices and shaping it for your needs?
I was just putting people in major incident review meeting by myself and running them by myself till they learned. It took some 6 months before I could let it go, and guys, incident coordinators are now doing it by themselves. But it's also very good helps that we have major incident manager from business side who is responsible for communication to customers, and she loves both being part of incidents resolution. She just enjoys it, and working with improvements. So one person who is now coordinating all this.
Well, I just have a small question. How many meetings during the day the regular engineer have?
If you check the status page, there is like one incident.
No, that's very interesting. There's a lot of things to do it, but
yeah, let me show you. So this is all production incidents we had for 3 years. In December 2020, we had more than 30. And the green ones are 2022. And you know what? Comparing to last years, we are chilling. We just relax because the majority of these incidents, production incidents, is like we are spam blocked. Things that are super easy to fix. It's like really a lot.
But if the
How
things
many-
are easy to fix, does it mean that root cause was not fixed?
We are unable to automate removing us from Siren, whitelisting us in Siren. They are making blocks for spam senders to automate. That's why we have this like once per month at least. So they are much more easier incidents than we had a year ago. Do we have a lot of meetings? No. Because of that, we had at the beginning, we had more meetings because it was highest priority to resolve them. I was, for one development team, I stopped 2 sprints. I cancelled them for whole development team to solve production issues. They started with more than 40 third-line cases in backlog. And I was like, come on, you cannot develop. Now, if they have more than 4, it means they don't fit into one screen in Jira. It's bad. We need to add 1 more person to help to the third-line duty. So it really helps to be so pushy to improve your reliability, actually. Reasons of incidents that we have now. We got infrastructure issues to a little bit middle. Now our suppliers organize for us more incidents than we from infrastructure perspective. As an example, it is, yes, I know what you are joking. You're laughing. Yes, suppliers as an example, we lost internet connection in data center where they had issue during maintenance of hardware. So these kind of things is supplier issues. Now our beast at the moment is RabbitMQ. Yes.
Does it because you can configure it properly or use it? Or
It's because we are doing a lot of significant refactorings, and RabbitMQ is the center of our system. Because we also are using it not really correctly, we are trying to use it as it's part of transaction, which is not. So yeah, but it's much less, and as you can see, it ended in July. Because we made a lot of improvements there. At the beginning of the year, we had Elasticsearch upgrade that was bringing a lot of problems, and it ended around March. So March was the worst month of this year. Now functionality, well, also because we have more development teams and we have infrastructure engineers. So we just need to get better with the test automation that is still in progress. And major incidents, we had none in November and none in December this year. I'm super happy. Yes. Well, it's also, we need to understand, here I'm speaking about real major incidents, not like I was saying we had this Tuesday. It was degraded performance. We haven't breached SLA. We just were working with it using the same process because we want to learn and improve. But not necessarily it is actual SLA breach or these kind of things. So we had horrible June this year. We had a lot of lessons learned from it. So yeah, if we look on major incidents, reasons, well, we still have a lot of from RabbitMQ, supplier, human error. Everyone can have a human error, and only then we have infrastructure. So we made significant progress, and finally, our infrastructure engineers can have time to do some fun things. So I'm really proud. It's information really from today. where one of infrastructure engineers wrote this in the incident channel. A new bot will join us and help us inform our customers about delays in processing incoming files. And queue monitor will check our connect queue and will inform first us, then with some logic on status page customers directly, and will poke us if we don't fix issue fast enough.
You grow more than 2 hours? You mean like the message which came into queue, 2 hours delay between processes?
Yes, exactly. That's our issue at the moment with performance, because we are not able to handle so many messages, because all our integrations, majority, are coming from files. And if we have a customer who decides to, okay, now I will send 100,000 invoices through files, but not in a batch, but one by one, and then our queue piles up like this, and everyone needs to wait, because we cannot scale it enough straight away. So we really want to be proactive in informing customers, hey, we have problem, please wait. So this is what guys are doing now, instead of sitting and solving production incidents. So, conclusion, that's our recommendation. Stop production, teamwork when major incident happens. Ensure customers knows about issues from you and not you from them. Resolve incident and impact immediately and root cause immediately. Perform incident review meetings, the post-mortem. Next day, maximum, you will just forget what happened. Seriously, you will forget. And prioritize follow-up actions high. Why is that? You will be able to improve significantly. And don't think that, oh, we will have all this time only handling major incidents and follow-up actions. They're dropping because you have so much focus on that. So I wish you really reliable products and good processes to handle major incidents and learn. And actually it's very motivating for people who are involved, because they can see that they can fix it immediately. So engagement of this team is the highest on all our teams of infrastructure guys. So thank you. Any questions still? Yes?
So on the slide that showed the reasons of incidents, the functionality bar was the highest bar,
Yes.
along with the Redican queue. So I assume that often broken functionality is caused by a bug that was deployed
Yes.
in the code changes and so. In that context, my question is how big part of the process you have established, QA, test suites play at the moment. Now, I don't know if people happen to test applications built with Java applets. I'm not old enough, I guess, for them. But if you do have a test suite, it seems like one of the most natural things
Yes.
to be part of the follow-up, to add a test to the test suite that would proactively catch the problem.
Yes.
Right. So how big part
Okay.
it plays in the process?
I will explain. So there was 5 attempts to implement test automation to the product. 5. Now the 5th one, which we have now working for a year. So imagine a monster, like an elephant, and you are trying to do, just to explain, full regression test of our product takes 6 QAs, 3 weeks. This is full regression test of our product. Manual QA, yes? And 0 test automation as of last year, beginning of last year. We had to stop all previous frameworks because, as an example, we had framework of testing UI without backend. Yes, it was so bad. So I had to ask to throw away everything, and we started again. We now are building regression test suite, what you are speaking about, using REST API tests. This is only what we can do now. Our unit test coverage, we're in Java 7, just to understand.
So it's
Yes, what like person understands. Yes, we do not have strong unit test coverage. Component integration tests, we couldn't do them physically. It was impossible. We now are going, you can see here, not here on another slide, Springification project. Yes, we are Springifying our application. So we are on not that stage that we have a good test suite. Now for a year, we managed to cut a regression test or smoke test that we're doing for each release from 3 days for 2 QAs to 1 day for 2 QAs. Woo! We are so good. No, we are in progress. This is old dinosaur, which we need to improve. I had a really good statement from one of my colleagues. It is easy to implement new product now, but it is really challenging to transform, to modernize such a dinosaur like we have. Even though you saw we managed to reach 100% availability. It is possible, it's a lot of work. And yes, answering your question, now we are adding, when possible, when we already have test automation in this area, we are adding them. But many areas are not yet added into test automation, and there are still issues with framework.
And that is the answer between quality and reliability.
Yes, exactly.
Pure example.
Yes.
So you said you're adding REST testing, but that's still not end-to-end.
It's not end-to-end.
But that is not the decision. It's more implied by the technical stack. By
yes,
the limitations, the technical stack.
Because end-to-end tests, even if we will implement them, they will be so unreliable. Because even REST tests, that for us, REST test framework, and that is topic of another talk, we are doing it in a best possible way when REST test is one API call. This is mandatory. One API call, one REST test. We are preparing data in advance. We're running the API, we're checking the result. Why? Because you see we're using Elasticsearch and Solr, and it is part of our process. So if we run end-to-end tests, and we were trying, you need to put delays 2 minutes in one test. Just because you need to wait when Solr or Elasticsearch will pick up the change in invoice or order. So up to 2 minutes we had to put delays. Imagine how much time it takes. It could finish in 6 hours. And it was just really small amount of tests. So it didn't work for us. That's why we moved to the different approach with REST tests and very tiny. But I'm really hoping for Springification to implement component integration tests. There we will be able to really run the machine. But it will come. Any other questions? No?
Just good luck.
Thank you.